Hello and welcome you all to the class of Irrigation Engineering. Till now in this course we have studied about the irrigation project classification, that is types of the irrigation project. Okay, on different parameter it is classified in different types, and we have also studied about the different types of field water application or different methods of field water application depending upon the soil availability and the other factors. We can categorize the field water application. Okay, so the the ultimate goal of this project or irrigation project or field water application is what? Is to provide water to the crops so that the crops can be flourish well and can yield the maximum output. Okay, so it means we can say what we are doing, whatever we are designing, the hydraulic structure, even in large scale or in a small scale, but the ultimate goal is to provide the water to the crops. So it means the quality of water becomes the utmost importance for the agriculture purpose. Okay, so we should know the quality of water before applying the water to the crops. Okay, so in this lecture or today's class we will study about the uh, quality of irrigation water. Okay, so there are various parameters which on which we can categorize the water quality. As here you can see, the salinity hazard, sodium hazard, and the presence of carbonate and bicarbonates, and different types of toxic element. If they exceed their permissible limit, then that can be injurious to the plant. Okay, bacterial contamination, and we will study the sediment concentration in water. Okay, so starting with the salinity hazard, it means what happened this in the irrigation water, salt of the salt of calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium may be present in with the water. Okay, so if they exceeds their permissible limits, then what happen, they will be injurious to the plant. Okay, so before applying the water to the field we must know the concentration of the salt of these elements. Okay, so generally we measured or we expressed this salt concentration, the salt concentration, the salt concentration is expressed in parts per million. The salt concentration is expressed in parts per million or milligram per liter. Okay, so but this the we generally we measure the salt concentration by the electrical conductivity of the water. Okay, so we measured this, uh, we measure, or we can say measurement of salt concentration through electrical conductivity of water. Electrical conductivity of water. By measuring the electrical conductivity of water, we can also categorize, or and we can also know the salt concentration. Okay, and the unit of this electrical conductivity of water which we measure is micro Siemens per centimeter. Or somewhere you can also see that the other unit which is equivalent to this unit is micromoles per centimeter. Okay, so it is this microsiemens per centimeter is written is in this form, micro per centimeters. Okay, so actually what happened, how this concentration of salt affect the plant, we know through this diagram. Okay, suppose this is the ground surface. Okay, this is the ground surface. Okay, so this is your plant, correct? Just pardon me for this figure, and suppose this is your root, correct? Okay, roots. Okay, and this is your nearby soil. This is your nearby soil. The soil nearby the roots. Okay, so this plant for its growth takes water through roots. Okay, and these roots take water from the nearby soil. Suppose if this soil has proper water, okay, there is no problem of water. There are enough water to provide the water to the roots. Okay, but what happened? There is a problem. What problem? If the water present in the soil has higher concentration of salt, higher concentration, high concentration of salt, then what happen if the soil have higher concentration of salt? Okay, then what happen, this since this roots, the water presents in the roots, there is in the roots there will be also water present. Okay, so what happen if the water presents in the root have lower concentration? This has lower concentration of salt. Okay, and outside the salt concentration is high. So we know due to osmotic pressure of the soil, it will increase and the water will flow from root to the soil. It means the water will flow from inside to the outside. Okay, from inside to the outside. Okay, okay, so water will start flowing from inside the root to the outside the root. Okay, it means if the water is present in enough quantity, however that plant will wilt. Okay, ultimate this what happened, this plant will wilt. Okay, because the plant does not have sufficient water for its growth. Why? Because water is flowing inside the root to the outside. Okay, why? Because there is a high concentration of salt present in the soil. Okay, due to the pressure increase in osmotic pressure, what happens, the water flow from the roots to the outside. Okay, so although the water is present in enough quantity, but plant will wilt. Okay, that's why we should know the concentration of salt in the irrigation water, and it should be within the permissible limit. Okay, so generally we can say if this concentration of water should below than 700 meter, but there is data that if the salt concentration is greater than 700, okay, if it is greater than 700 ppm, then it is injurious to some plants, injurious to some plants. Okay, but if it exceeds 2000 parts per million, then it will be injurious to all the plants, injurious to all the crops, all the plants or crops. Correct. So we should minimize. We should keep the salt concentration below this data. Okay. So as you can see in this figure, there is a data regarding this salinity hazard, okay, and sodium hazard. So in x-axis, you can see this the this from 100 to 250. It means the x-axis represents the electrical conductivity. Okay, micros, and the unit is microsiemens per centimeter, which is equivalent to micromhos per centimeter. Okay, so if this electrical conductivity lies between 100 to 250, it means the concentration is low. Okay, from 250 to 750, we can say the concentration is medium. Okay, and if the electrical conductivity is greater than 750 to 2250, then it will be high concentration, and if it exceeds to 2250, then we can say the electrical conductivity, that the percentage of salt concentration is very high, which is very much injurious to the salt, to the plants. Okay, and in the y-axis, the scale of sodium adsorption ratio is given. Okay, we will study about this SAR. Okay, so sodium hazard. Okay, the sodium hazard of irrigation water. How we can measure the sodium hazard? By this ratio, by this sodium adsorption ratio. Sodium adsorption ratio, which in short it is called as SAR. Okay, so the sodium hazard of irrigation water is expressed in sodium adsorption ratio. Okay, uh, so the formula of SAR, or we can say higher percentage of, if suppose in the salt concentration there are the salt of various elements is present, but if the salt concentration of sodium exceeds, okay, exceeds other than the element, then it will again harmful to the plants. Okay, and it's affect the plant growth. Okay, so we should know the percentage of sodium as well, correct, and the proportion of this sodium can be find by this SAR ratio, which is equal to SAR is equal to the concentration of this sodium to the average of concentration of this calcium and magnesium. Okay, so by this ratio we can know the this SAR, sodium adsorption ratio, and on this SAR we can categorize the sodium hazardness by this data. Just like you can see, from 0 to 10 it is low, as you, in this figure 0 to 10 it is low, from 10 to 18 it is medium, and from 18 to 26 it is categorized as high, and above that it is categorized as very high. Okay, so generally it is recommended to avoid using water with an SAR value lower than 10. If the SAR value exceeds 10, then we do the some treatment of that water. Okay, so I hope that this figure is clear to you. Again, I just repeat it. Uh, in the x-axis, this is representing electrical conductivity. Okay, for measuring the salinity hazardness. Okay, from 100 to 250 it is low, 250 to 750 it is medium, 750 to 2250 is high, and above that it is very high. Correct? And based on SAR, that is sodium adsorption ratio, which the formula of SAR just we have seen here. You can see the SAR is equal to Na plus, that is concentration of sodium, divided by this root of the average of this concentration of calcium and magnesium. Okay, so if SAR is lies between 0 to 10, it means that is low sodium, low concentration of sodium, correct? And if it exceeds 10, then we generally avoid using that water. Okay, and based on different data, it is categorized in different classification, that is medium, high, and very high. Okay. So further, you can see this low salinity water, medium salinity water, high salinity water, very high salinity water. In this figure, you can see this C1S1. Okay, S1 represents this S1 represent means that is low. One means low, two means medium, three means high, and four means very high. Okay, for both the parameter. Okay, so if I say this water is C1, it means that is C1 means this one. Okay, this C1 means this one. Okay, this is C1. Okay, and S1 means this one. Okay, if I say this is C1 water, it means it has low electrical conductivity. Okay, low salinity hazard. Correct. And if I say S1, it means thus SAR ratio is low. Okay, and we can say low sodium hazard. Correct. If I say C3S3, it means this C3 represents what? C3 represents this salinity hazardness, and S3 represents the sodium hazardness. Okay, C3 means we can say the salinity hazardness is high, and S3 means the sodium hazardness is medium. Sorry, high. Correct. This is high. Okay. Now, after this sodium hazardness, there is a problem of again carbonates and bicarbonates concentration. What? This water high in carbonates. If the water is high in carbonates, if the water is high in carbonates, okay, and bicarbonate, that is CO3 minus 2 and bicarbonates, that is HCO3 minus. Okay. So if the water is high in carbonates and bicarbonates, then what happens? The precipitation of calcium carbonate, the precipitation of the precipitation of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3, and magnesium carbonate, that is MgCO3. Okay, if the water is high in carbonates and bicarbonates, then what will happen? Then there will be precipitation of CaCO3 and MgCO3. That is the precipitation of calcium carbonates and magnesium carbonate will occur. It means if this carbonates of calcium and magnesium will precipitate, then automatically the percentage of what? The percentage of sodium carbonate will increase. It means SAR will SAR will increase. Okay, and again we know what happened if we should keep the SAR value below than 10, then that is suitable for as a irrigation water, and if SAR will increase, then we know by this chart this if SAR will be increased, then it becomes the hazardness, or it will start deteriorating the plants. Okay. So that was about carbonates and bicarbonate concentration. Now, the concentration of potentially toxic element present in water. Okay, since there are some elements which should present in water, okay, but in within permissible limit. If that exceed the permissible limit, then what happens? That is a starting creating problem for the plants. Okay, and the plant growth is can be affected. Okay, in addition to what we have studied till now, we have studied about the salinity and sodium hazardness. Okay, so certain crops may be sensitive to the presence of moderate to high concentration of specific ions. Okay, like boron, we will study about that. Okay, so we should know about the concentration of other elements also, which is present in water. Okay, so since we have studied about sodium toxicity and that salinity hazardness, correct? So the first one is boron toxicity. It means if boron is present within permissible limit, then there is no problem. But if the concentration of boron is getting increased, then there might be problem for the crops. Okay, as you can see this in this chart, if boron concentration is less than 0.5 parts per million, then that is satisfactory for all the crops. Okay, and since if this lies between 0.5 to 1, then uh, that is satisfactory for most crops. That is, a few crops are getting affected, correct? But what we can see from this chart, that a smaller amount of boron is essential for the plants. But if it increase the permissible limit, then it starts creating problem to the plants. Okay, and how can we know if we haven't checked the boron toxicity? So by seeing, observing the crops, we can categorize, we can estimate, or we can know there will be problem with the boron, that is higher concentration of boron. So symptoms of borons, we can say symptoms of boron toxicity is leaf burning, chlorosis, necrosis. Okay, so these are the symptoms of boron toxicity. Okay, so boron toxicity symptoms first appear on older leaves. Okay, as yellowing, spotting, or drying of leaf tissue at the tips and edges. Correct. So first, in the beginning, if the boron is concentration is high, then in the first it affects the older leaves. Okay, by observing, if you observe the older leaves is getting yellow, then you can you can know that the concentration of boron is high in that water. Okay. The next element, that is chloride. Okay, so again in this chart you can see the most common crop toxicity in if you talk about the major elements which creates this hazardness, that is chlorine. Okay, so you can say the most common crop toxicity is caused by chlorides in irrigation water. Okay, but again the presence of chlorine is essential, as presence of all the things, sodium and that boron is essential, but within permissible limit. If it exceed the permissible limit, then it has the started creating problem with the soil. Okay, and affect the plant's growth. Okay, so whenever we provide the water to the plant, we must know about the chlorine concentration. Okay, so if it is lesser than 70 parts per million, then that is generally safe for all the plants. But as it increase, the effectiveness on crops is reduced. Correct. Now, bacterial contamination. So again, this bacterial is again the bacteria is bacteria should be present, but within permissible limit. But effect of bacteria as compared to the previous one which we have studied is slightly reduced, slightly less if we do not consume that crops directly or being without cooked. Okay, if we take the crops directly, that is without being cooked, then that might be a problem. But for cash crops like cotton, teas, which are first, uh, which we do not take directly, that is, which are first processed in the industry, then comes for to the house for consumption, then there is no problem. Higher percentage of bacteria in that cash crops is not a problem at all, right? But if that bacterial contamination, when it is injurious, when when the crops, when the crops are eaten directly, or we can say, or without cooking, then there is a problem with the bacteria. Then it may create problem. Okay. But if we eat that crop after being cooked, then there will be no problem of bacterial. Okay. And for for cash crops like cotton, tea, etc., there is no problem of bacterial contamination. Why? Because cash crops are those crops which we do not take directly. Okay, like as in case of vegetables and other things. Cash crop means that crops first goes to the industry for processing, like cotton, tea, you know, that goes to the processing for the industry, and after processing it comes to the market or for us or for cooking purpose. Okay, so in the processing of that cash crop, that's all the bacteria problem is minimized. Okay, so cash crops like cotton, teas does not create problem, does not does not have problem with this, have problem with bacterial contamination. Okay, contamination. Okay, so this was about the water quality or presence of some elements in the water for irrigation purpose. Okay, so in a nutshell, in this figure, whatever we have studied, we can see the actually if we take all these terms or all these parameters at once, we can classify the water as three category: one, two, three. Okay, based on electrical conductivity, total dissolved solids, okay, exchangeable sodium, percentage chlorine, sulfates, boron. Okay, the class one represents the excellent for excellent for irrigation purpose. Then if it comes down two and three, then it becomes slightly problem. So if we have water 2 and 3, then we do not we cannot provide the water directly to the crops. Okay, we must do the some treatment of that water. Okay, the another parameter on which the water quality can be judged, that is sediment concentration of in water. So this sediment concentration is associated with the design of canals or the way the water is flowing and the way through which water is coming to the crops. Okay, basically this depends on the velocity of the water. Okay, it is not the inherent that characteristics of water. This sediment concentration is increased due to the flow of water. If the is very low velocity is very low, then silting will occur. Silting will occur. Suppose there is a canal through which the water is coming, and if the water velocity is very low, then the small what particles will settle down to the bottom of that canal. Okay, and if velocity will be very high, if velocity velocity is very high. Velocity of what? Velocity of water which are coming through the channel. Yes, velocity is, if velocity is high, okay, is velocity is very high, then there is problem of soil erosion. Soil erosion, okay. Soil erosion means the erosion of either that bed, this bed slope or bed of the canal, or the bank of the canal, that will get eroded, so through which the water, the soil particles will flow along with the water, and that finally comes to the field, okay, as a sediment, correct. So the problem with sediment concentration, it might create problem to the plants, as the if sediment is very high, okay, sediment concentration is very high with the water, then it might change the physical properties of the soil, okay, it might disturb the physical properties of the soil, okay. Might be the it may reduce the permeability of that soil. It means it can change the properties of soil basically, which ultimate results to the, or which is proportional to the growth of plants, okay. So on that we can say that higher sedimentation concentration is also a negative, can create a negative impact on the plants of growth, the growth of plants, okay, plants growth, okay. So by if we come to the question, so there is the first question on your screen: the irrigation water having concentration of this sodium, calcium and magnesium is given, okay, milli equivalent per liter. So we need to classify the soil. So first of all, we know what is the formula of this SAR, okay. SAR is equal to Na plus divided by root over Ca and Mg, okay, this we know by 2. So here the concentration of sodium is given as 20 divided by root over this 3 plus 1, 3 plus 1 by 2, okay. So 20 by 3 plus 1, 4 by 2, that is root 2, which becomes equal to, if we calculate it, it will comes at 14.14, okay. So this SAR comes as 14.14. So we know that if SAR is lesser than 10, then it is low sodium hazardness, okay. And if it exceeds 10 to 18, then we can categorize that SAR as medium sodium hazardness. So we can say this is medium, okay. So that is medium sodium water. So option number B will be your right answer, okay. Now, another question: what is the classification of irrigation water having the following concentration? That is again the same question is given. Concentration of Na, Ca and Mg is given. So we should calculate the SAR first. SAR is equal to the concentration of sodium, that is 22, divided by root over the concentration of Ca plus Mg by 2, that is 3 plus 1.5 by 2. Okay, so if you calculate it, you will get this as 14.67, okay, which again comes as medium sodium water, that is S2, okay. We can also classify this this medium sodium water as S2. This is S1, low sodium means S1, medium sodium water, that is S2, high sodium, that is S3, and very high sodium water is S4. So in the previous problem, that the water comes under S2 category, okay. In this question again SAR comes as S2, okay. And electrical conductivity is 200 micromoles per centimeter, okay. Electrical conductivity is given 200 micromoles per centimeter, okay. So on the basis of electrical conductivity, again this is classified, the water is classified. So since it is 200, so which is less than 250, so it means it the low salinity hazardness, okay. Based on this electrical conductivity data, that is 200, we can say that water is having low salinity, okay. So it comes under this C1, okay. So since electrical conductivity is equal to 200 micromoles per centimeter. Okay, per centimeter. So we can say this is low salinity hazard. Salinity Low salinity. Okay, it means that is comes under the symbol is C1. So if we need to classify this water depending on the percentage of concentration of these elements and electrical conductivity, then we can say water classification. Classification is C1S2. Okay, so this is your classification, correct? C1S2. Why C1? Because that is having low salinity depending on this 200 micromoles per centimeter. This is okay. So this micromoles per centimeter and microsiemens per centimeter are equivalent. Okay, and this SAR is 14.67, that is lies between this medium sodium hazardness. So we can categorize this water as C1S2. Okay. Now again, this question: if electrical conductivity of water is between 250 to 750, so we again know if this electrical conductivity lies between 250 to 750, we categorize and we classify and we designate that water as medium salinity water. Medium salinity water, that is C2. Okay, so option number B will be your right answer. Now this question, the irrigation water, the concentration of the sodium, calcium, magnesium is given and electrical conductivity is also given. So we need to classify this irrigation water. So first of all, we need to calculate SAR. Okay, SAR is equal to percentage of sodium, that is 24, divided by root over the summation of this calcium and magnesium, that is 3.6 plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, so the value of this comes as 14.34. Okay, and the electrical conductivity of that water is given in the question as 180 micromoles per centimeter. Okay, so on the on this table we can categorize as SAR is 14.34, that is medium sodium, correct, and electrical conductivity is 180, which is lesser than 250. Okay, so we can say that water is having low salinity. So if we classify the soil or water classification is this is C1 and this 14.34 is medium, that is S2. So that water is classified as C1S2. Okay, so I hope that this lecture is clear to you, how to classify the water, how to judge the water, that this water will be suitable for the crops or not. We have a study based on different parameters, based on the different concentration of different elements. We can categorize that water for the suitability of irrigation purpose. Okay, so in the next class we will study about the different topics, different topic or the next topic of this irrigation engineering. Okay, thank you.